this video looks crazy. I know this title looks insane, but y'all gotta give me some leeway here because I can only do so much Daybreak at one time. Like I really can. But so I think something to really just empty my mind a little bit, because I've played Daybreak for a bit. I feel like we all have certain things to say about the games we like to play. So I would like to address some of my mainly unpopular opinions. Now, warning, these are my opinions, and I don't want to see anybody try to bend my mind to go in any other direction because I've had these ideas in my mind for a while. Please be civil in the comments for the love of God. And this video is not meant to be hateful by any means. It's not meant to really be critiquing by any means outside of educative criticism, excuse me. Because I have really appreciated the push the devs have made this year and the past couple of years. So just understand that it's not out of a place of bitterness, no matter how my tone may be. Because I tend to get pretty pumped about topics I'm passionate about quickly. So yeah, without further ado, the first one, my first unpopular opinion, is that not every map needs an infinite loop. I promise you that every single map in Daybreak has at least 1 to 2 infinite loops, and I can name some. I can name, what is it called? The gazebo in Gaikahara, the well, that flag loop, I call it flag. And then recently they broke the fence underneath the flag where that one gen is, and the loop beside that. So now that's a complete infinite loop chain, and it's just like, by breaking up those loops right there near that entrance to Donut from flag, they made that loop and that transition 10 times stronger. And interrupting on my phone mic to say 2 things. Number 1, I say "and it's just like" a lot because I can't really find better words to describe the things I'm trying to tell. And I bring it up later in the video again, but when it comes to things like these, especially with something as rage baity as the Daybreak community, not the game, just the community. Like, I'm gonna pull a Zinni right now and just say it up front. Y'all love rage baiting. And I'm just trying to be very careful and wise with the words I choose, so it doesn't seem like I'm being offensive towards the devs, because this is not directed towards the devs. This is mainly directed towards the community and just game mechanics. This is not directed towards anybody in particular either. This is not targeting any specific person. So if you feel in your feelings, that's on you, not me. Click off the video and take a walk. Like I said in the beginning, these are my opinions. I'm trying to be wise with the things I say. I gave you a warning, and if you don't like it, then just click off. This is YouTube in 2025. If you don't like an opinion that somebody is giving, leave. Thank you, and have a great day. It's just like, for both sides too, it's just like, okay. I mean, like, I halfly get it. It was a pretty strong loop off the jump, but at the same time, it's not just that too. Think about, I'm trying to think of other examples of this. Think of Shifty. Pretty much everything in Shifty's an infinite loop if you can make it. Not just Shifty 2, but Haverhill. Haverhill as a whole entity is an infinite loop in and of itself, and it's just like, bro, I feel like by having so many infinite loops, it partially lowers the skill level. Like, I know I rage a lot at Daybreak, but I'm a killer main, so it can be kind of a given. And I'm not trying to say that in a place of that. It's just, to me, what's the point? But, I mean, more places to transition. So that's cool, I guess. Excuse me, I'm trying to move my mic. More places to go, so I can respect that. Now, my second one that might make people a little heated. My second unpopular opinion. Shifty is objectively the worst map in the game. Even more than Haverhill. Now, why do I say this? Shifty has been a hot debate, I think, back like last year. because it is so easy to 3-gen on there. If you have 8 players and you have like the entirety of the bottom subway station, like those 3 gens next to each other, one in server room, one on lower metro, and then the other one in that corner, you're good. Survivors are cooked. They're done. But then when you get outside of that, well, no matter where you are, it's going to be easy to gen lock. But when you get outside of that, the loops are stretched so wide that it's like you can barely ever catch up to survivors, even if you're a mobility killer. And so it's just like, not only is it easy to lock no matter where you are as killer, but it's nearly impossible to catch up with anybody on that map as killer. Not only that, it can be really difficult for survivors to even keep up with gens. And I don't want to hear nobody say that that is balanced because of that, because that just makes... The conditions of that map are so jank to me. I'm trying to figure out a good word to say without sounding disrespectful. But the map itself is so janky that everything survivors know of, plus it being an indoor map, is kind of like pushed to its extremities, if that makes sense. It's just, compared to Haverhill, where it's a bunch of floors stacked on each other and it can be kind of easy to hear everyone despite your terror light being heard everywhere, Shifty is just like, ugh. Okay, my third unpopular opinion. Apostate was 10 times better when she was overgrown rather than how she is now. Now listen to me. Listen to me. I will have footage from some old... Interrupting again to say that I was editing on DaVinci when TikTok got beamed for like... Not TikTok. When CapCut got beamed for like maybe like 2.5 hours. So now I'm re-editing the edit I made on DaVinci in CapCut. So that whole bit was useless. And if you want to like look at videos of Overgrown, they're on YouTube. Just look up Overgrown Daybreak Roblox and it'll show up, I promise you. But yeah, no, back to our regularly scheduled program. Videos in the background that I will credit. But Apostate back in Daybreak 1, before her character was revamped due to the person being controversial or whatever the case was, her name was the Overgrown. Her design was sick. She had 4 arms as a Robloxian character. You don't see that a lot. And so her passive was called Field of Thorns. Rather than her stacks being called Salvation stacks, they were called Takeover. And so the difference between Salvation stacks, passive and active, compared to Takeover, passive and active, is that with Takeover, with Takeover's passive, you get stacks a lot quicker. Well, not a lot quicker, but slightly quicker. But when you down a survivor, it creates this orb effect around them where if you walk in that area of the dead survivor, you still get stacks passively. Compared to just downing a survivor and getting nothing at all in return, aside from, oh, they'll bleed out faster, or oh, they're dead. Not only that, but her skill level was higher, rather than just clicking a button and calling it a day or holding W. When you use the active ability, aka Blooming Burst, it was kind of like, it's a mix between Warden and Slasher's projectiles, where it's a projectile like Warden's, but you can get headshots and get more takeover stacks, like a Ren, who if he gets a headshot, he gets more XP. And so, if a survivor is in the orb area or gets a direct, or is directly hit by the takeover orb, I'll just call it, they get like an extreme amount of stacks, and that just creates panic throughout the entire team. It was amazing. And then not only that, but if they are still in that area when that orb is there, they passively get stacks. It isn't just you get like 25 stacks, 25 to 50 stacks, and you get no more. No, as long as you were in that area, you kept getting stacks until you couldn't get any more. And I missed that, because not only did that make her skill level higher and make it a little more difficult to play her with more reward, but it wasn't as stressful, because she was a 5-speed, mind that. And I think Apostate is still a 5-speed now, but like, There was just so much more benefit from using her actual ability, and it was harder for survivors to hold W. So I really appreciate that. I had another one that I wrote down, but I feel like that would put me in a pickle if I said that opinion, even though it's not out of anywhere bad. But I'm just not going to say that. Now, this one may be popular or unpopular depending on how you take it, but Daejeon or Daehyung, I don't know how to pronounce it, I apologize. And Yijun fans scare me to death. And the ship itself is also scary, and I hate how often people either A, glaze it, or B, sexualize it. Because you have to think about it this way. Not only are we overhyping idol culture, which is already bad as is in every country, like not even just anywhere in Korea, not just like North and South Korea, not just anywhere in Japan. It's awful everywhere, even in streaming. And by portraying this toxic, like one-sided and definitely like homicidal in tendencies relationship, and then fans are consuming that, some who are minors, by the way, so that's even scarier. It's just, the whole thing in general is disgusting to me. And I'm not saying that the actual lore of it itself shouldn't be in game, because in my opinion, I feel like Daybreakians need more scary stuff. Like Warden's situation too. Things like that happen in real life. Kiara's situation, those things happen in real life. Yijun and Daehyung's situation, those happen in real life. I'm not saying those shouldn't be in the lore. It's just certain people don't understand how to take it when they're exposed to those sort of real life circumstances, and the way it's taken in the Daybreak community with that ship specifically pisses me off. It pisses me off really bad. And also the amount of throwers who see their ship. You're the problem. Please, I don't want to say log off, but like reconsider how you're treating a block. That's all I can really say. Okay, my fourth unpopular opinion, I believe fourth. I miss when Slasher was able to throw his knives through Lakeview's trees. Now, if you didn't know, I don't remember if this was patched in Daybreak 1 or Daybreak 2, but Slasher used to be able to have his knife have no collision through Lakeview's trees, both in courtyard and near back gate, right? And so it was honestly so easy to sneak attack people through there. And it kind of made sense because you could still get a throwing knife through a tree if you really think about it. But once they were blocked off, at that point, it was like, how many invisible wall collisions are really there for Slasher's knife? And it's like kind of after that point, there was rarely ever... It's just there's so many invisible walls, especially on Costa, that it's like really difficult to be like, what is an invisible wall and what's not? But at the same time, I understand why they patched that, because like it kind of gave him an advantage. But you can patch that, but you still can't patch the fact that when a Slasher throws while vaulting, it blocks the animation off completely. But we're not going to talk about that. Again, this is nowhere out of hate. This is nowhere out of bitterness. These are just my opinions. Now, my fifth one. Yronica is an op. I have no sympathy for her. Yronica fans scare me, and I have a boiling hatred for Yronica. I don't care. Well, I don't want to say I don't care about her backstory, because that sounds really bitter. But her backstory does not excuse her literally making another, like... Actually, no. As someone who's seen that sort of thing happen around a lot, especially in my generation... Fuck you, Yronica. Like, oh yeah, my parents neglected me, yada yada yada. But that behavior does not excuse the fact that you used that sort of background or behavior to excuse your other actions. I feel for Principal. Her body is still in Lakeview. What is wrong with you? And to anybody who defends Yronica, I just want you to hear this one thing. People like her exist in real life, and people like her get away with this in real life for long periods of time. And you can enforce that all you want, but that makes you just as much of a bad person. Okay, I don't want to get heated with that. So we're gonna get to the last one. I miss Yvonne's Daybreak 1 healing buff. It made her so good, but also I'm pretty sure that was when she was meta too, so I understand why they removed it. It pretty much made her busted. It kind of made her on par with Arlo, but not really. But in terms of heal speed, yeah, they were definitely like, she was definitely high heal when she got her fight or flight. But she was also kind of close to. Basically, they removed Yvonne's heal buff so Parker could run and Arlo could run, and basically any other healer they added after that. But yeah, those are my opinions. And in conclusion, Yvonne still needs voice lines. I will not stop bringing it up. Y'all made me so mad when that girl got harassed and stopped voicing Yvonne. Please bring me a Yvonne voice actor. I'm gonna cry. Sincerely, a Daybreak 1 Yvonne capable and Yvonne main. Have fun. Stay creative. Peace.
This is a certified classic.